Hello, I'm Sean from Maize Play. Last week we talked a little bit about sponsorships. You got some feedback, so I wanted to visit the sponsorship issue one more time, give you a little more information, what you could take a look at, and what you may consider for your maize for sponsorships. So to begin with, again, if you're live, we want you to post one in the comments below. If you're seeing this later on, go ahead and post two and ask us any questions that you may have. Thanks for that input. Okay, so last week we did talk about the bigger sponsorships, and some of them could range up in value as high as $20,000 or $30,000. Well, that's pretty impressive. That gets a lot of people's attention. More realistically, they're down in several $1,000 range, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 range with those. But today we wanted to concentrate on maybe some of your smaller sponsorships, your $200 or $250 or $300 sponsorships, opportunities that are out there. And so with those, there's a lot of people out there that say, you know, really don't want to deal with them. There's a lot of work to doing some of these smaller sponsorships, gathering them up. But you may want to consider that for a little bit longer before you give up on the idea. Because what we're finding, and what we've noticed over the years, is that there are many people who grab these sponsorships in their first year and they continue year after year. And then a lot of it comes down to just adding, numbers add up. You've seen that at the end of the year when your expenses add up. Well, the same thing can be true with these marketing partnerships or rewards partners that you can do while do for your maize. So just wanted to show you kind of an example of a card that these are what we call our rewards partners. So we make up a card that they take through the maize. They find checkpoints that have been sponsored by the reward partner. So this is an example of one of those cards, and we may need to move it up a little closer. So you can see on this card, there's a bunch of different businesses, and they provide an offer so that when the person finds that sponsor's location in the maize, that activates a coupon. They can take that coupon back to that place of business and then get a reward. So for instance, I'm just going to read one off of here. This one is to Fat Cats. It's a buy one game, get 10 arcade tokens. Here's one for a free pastry with purchase of one ice cream. Here's a free lemonade with purchase. A Baskin Robbins, buy one regular single scoop and get another for 99 cents. Get $5 off a burger purchase. Get a free buffet with purchase of another buffet. So you can see there's a lot of these type of opportunities that you can take a look at. Something that rewards the customer for coming out to your maize. And then it also helps bring in some dollars before the maize season. Now, one of the things that make this reward partnership work, in fact, when I did it, I used to give these businesses a free admissions, basically the same amount of free admissions to the maize as their sponsorship level was. So if I had $10 tickets that I normally charged at my maize, and I had a $250 sponsorship, I'd be giving them 25 tickets to the maize, to come out to the maize. So in essence, it was a way that I was pre-selling and pre-loading tickets for my season. What that also did is they could then give those tickets out during the maize season, and then that would drive word of mouth. Word of mouth tends to be one of the best marketing methods that you can use to market your maize. Well, you got to get people out to the maize before they start talking about it. So that was a way that I would front load my season a little bit and get people coming out so that they would talk and then get the buzz generating about it. So I'd get these free admissions out to the businesses, ask them to give these free admissions out to their customers, or maybe even provide opportunities for people to come in and win the free admissions at these various different businesses' locations. Like, take for example an auto dealership. They can come in, do a test drive, get free admissions to the maize. So you've really got a really neat opportunity out there. When I start talking about sponsors, most people think, oh, I hate going and asking people for money. Well, it's really different if you go to the auto dealership and say, hey, look, I've got this corn maze out here. I'm wondering if you would like some free admissions to give out to your customers to come test drive cars. Is that something that's of value to you? And then you just sell the free admissions up front and say, this is the package. In fact, we'll even include you on a card. Last year I had 10,000 people to my maze, so 10,000 people got cards. Not only did they get the card, you know, you can mail out all kinds of flyers to people, but how many people get the chance to hold that card in their hand for an hour? So I'm staring at those businesses, or at least this card, for up to an hour. And that could be pretty powerful marketing. I don't know of many other marketing methods where they actually get to hold something in their hand for about an hour. As they're going through the maze, it does tend to work that way, and they use this card as a game card and pay attention to it. They've got plenty of time to read it during the season, so it provides a real reward for that partner. The thing that we noticed over time was that those if we picked a good partner to be with, they would get a lot of benefit out of this program. They would be with us for the next year. So not only is it easier to go out and get a smaller sponsorship, there's a lot less risk in it when you're talking these lower dollar sponsorships or rewards partners. So, you know, it's a lot easier to get $300 than it is to get $3,000. You just times that by 10. It's actually easier to go out and get 10 $300 sponsorships than it is to go out and get one $3,000 sponsorships, what we found. And then we found that they tended to stay with us year after year. So, you know, when I did my maze, I had 20 reward sponsorships the first year, or 24, I think it was 24 reward sponsorships the first year. Second year, 21 of them came back. That makes it pretty easy. So you want to deal kindly with these reward sponsors. You want to follow up and at the end of the season, tell them how it went, tell how many cards you distributed, kind of do a little report. I actually even gave them a photo of the maze with a thank you, framed photo with a thank you for supporting the Wild Adventure Corn Maze and the charity that I was working with. And that really did warm things up. A lot of times I could close up and get the next year's sponsorship right there. So it turned into a deal where it turned into a multiple year deal. We've seen many of our rewards partner mazes tend to do that over time. So I was looking through the cards last night of a lot of cards we did and looking down through them, seeing some that we had done for multiple years, and they tended to list the same businesses. It tends to work well. So yes, there's a little work to go out and get those sponsorships rounded up to begin with, but if you get that ball rolling, it tends to keep rolling, and you keep a sponsorship a lot of times a lot easier than if you go out and get one big sponsor. We don't tend to see the big sponsorships last over a long period of time, but we do see these little sponsorships last over years, and the partnerships tend to work out pretty good. So it may be something that you want to consider. Overall, I would say that the business lasts a lot longer that way. To kind of one of my favorite quotes is from Abraham Lincoln. It says, "Doing little things well is a step towards doing big things better." And so again, these little things add up, and if you do that well, it can add up to be as big as some of the big sponsorships. And over time, they become easier than the big sponsorships, is what we've noticed. We have a little more information that we cover in our maze manual. Talks about what kind of things that you can offer and the obligations of a reward partner, how the system works. So you can go back and review your maze manual if you have one. And it will talk a little bit about more of these rewards partners, the kind of businesses you're looking for, that kind of thing. And then hopefully we'll be successful in rounding up a few sponsorships for this year. Let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have. Glad you joined us again for another Facebook Live opportunity, and we hope that you get more smiles per acre.